Avation is an aircraft finance company. That is, we own commercial passenger aircraft and we lease them to airlines over the long term. We've got a bit of a niche. We focus on narrow-body aircraft, that's single-aisle aircraft with two engines, and we have a further specialisation into a turboprop called the ATR 72-600, which is an Airbus, predominantly an Airbus product made in joint venture with an Italian company. It's an aircraft that has really evolved our business and grown our business significantly. We, as a lessor, introduced that aircraft into Australian airspace, and so we've got a great relationship with the manufacturer. And over the past three or so years, we've evolved our business from not only delivering that aircraft into Australia, but built our business so that we're now delivering that aircraft globally, and grown in numbers too, in such that we're delivering between 6 and 8 of those aircraft new into the market every year. The ATR 72 is an exceptional aircraft. It's been produced in one version or another for more than 25 years. There's over 1,200 in production, there's only a few aircraft that have over 1,000 models being built. I think there's 1,000 models still flying today. But it has 85% market share. It's a regional aircraft. The reason why it has 85% market share is that it is the most fuel-efficient aircraft of its type. It uses about half the fuel of an equivalent-sized jet, and airlines are about making money. This plane's more efficient. It can make the airlines more money, so there's a very high demand for this aircraft. It's in limited supply from the manufacturer, and it commands, very high lease rates. Our biggest customer is Virgin Australia. We are based where the company's domiciled in Singapore, and so we are focused on the Asia Pacific region. And the Asia Pacific region is the fastest growing region for aviation, on the planet. So we're well placed for that. 6 of the last 7 planes, in fact, that we've delivered have been into that Asia Pacific region. Yeah, the recent deal with Flybe is for 4 brand new ATR 600 aircraft. They'll start being delivered in the second half of 2015 calendar year. We're very excited to take them on as a new client. The planes are being wet leased to Scandinavian Air Services, so they'll be flying those routes. Very strong airlines associated with that. We like our planes being in Europe as well as the Asia Pacific region. It's a great deal for us. It's forward sold our order book generally for about the next year. So what that means is that contract alone grows our company by about 20% over the next year. And the other recent deal that we announced, which was with Thomas Cook for the delivery of 2 brand new A321 jets, about this time next year in 2016, grows our company by another 20%. And so over the next 12 months, Avation will deliver at least 40% growth to its balance sheet, and that will flow through in the following years into the P&L, into earnings, revenue and EBITDA. Historically, Avation has managed growth very, very successfully. We've grown, if you look at our fleet numbers, about 30+% a year over the last sort of 3 or 4 years. We've tripled the size of the company in the last 3 or 4 years, and we're actually accelerating our growth over the next year by the delivery of the 4 aircraft to Flybe and the 2 jets to Thomas Cook. That growth rate's accelerating to 40% over the next year. Most investors don't appreciate that there is a slight time lag between balance sheet growth and P&L growth. Obviously, when you purchase an aircraft, and we operate on a July to June financial year. Now, if you buy an aircraft or take delivery of an aircraft in May, the full financial year takes the asset on board, takes the debt associated with that aircraft on board, but you only generate income from that aircraft for 1 month. So it's not until the next financial year that you actually receive the full benefit of that. So with us, when we grow by 30 or 40%, you really see there is a lag, and you really see the benefit of that growth on the P&L in the following year. So when we say we're growing by 40% this year, we're suggesting to investors, buy the shares now, and it is a long hold. It's a hold for a year or 2 to get the full benefit of that growth, and you will see that in the P&L. Yeah, Asia Pacific's a great region for growth. The ATR aircraft is a short-haul regional aircraft. It is well suited to the 300 to 500 nautical mile range, and that represents about 30% of all aircraft journeys, or all commercial passenger aircraft journeys. And so it's an aircraft in high demand. It really suits the Asian region, which has, because it needs less infrastructure. It needs shorter runways, it doesn't need big airports, that sort of thing. So it does suit that sort of Asian peninsula and island type geography, although it's well used throughout South America, throughout Europe as well. Yeah, absolutely. We've had jets from the very beginning. We're very interested in jets. We have a fleet of 10 jets today. The deal that we've done with Thomas Cook is very exciting for our company. We love the A321 aircraft, the Airbus jet that we're delivering to them. We were very successful in winning a sale and leaseback from Thomas Cook. Around the world, when lessors like us buy aircraft, about 50% of the aircraft we buy are through sale and leasebacks from airlines. So that's an important skill set for this company to have to be successful in adding jets in the future. Typically, when we purchase an aircraft, we're a leveraged business, so just like when you go and buy a house, you'll go to the bank to borrow money to buy the house. We get senior lending on our aircraft, and we leverage our aircraft up between 70 and 80%. The business carries debt. We've reduced the cost of our debt as we've built scale with the company, and over the past 12 months we've actually reduced the average cost of debt across the whole fleet from 5.5% debt to about 4.6% debt. So that's a 20% saving in the cost of our debt. Given that it's our biggest P&L item, it really bodes well for improvements in profitability in the future. No, we do spread the debt. We're always interested in forming relationships with new banks. It's important that they're competitive against each other, and we have formed new relationships over the last year with French, German, Japanese banks. There is a search in banks for yield around the world. Aircraft are great yield producing assets, and so our relationships are varied. We like to diversify, as we do with our customers and sources of revenue, with our sources of funding. The industry in terms of air finance and delivery of aircraft is enormous. Some $120 billion of aircraft were delivered last year. I think the number was around 1,700 or 1,800 brand new aircraft. Now we're growing at 5, 6, 8 a year, and so we only need to grab a small amount of aircraft to keep these growth rates of 30 or 40% continuing. So our competitive landscape is that there's plenty of opportunity for us to continue the growth rates that we've seen and enjoyed in the past. Well, over 12 months, I think the important thing for investors to look at for us is actually just the execution of delivery of new aircraft. We've publicly stated, the aircraft that we're going to deliver, the 4 planes to Flybe, the 2 planes to Thomas Cook. Those alone deliver a minimum of 40% growth. I expect other growth that we'll be able to access in between now and the end of the following year. And so every time we deliver an aircraft, there will be, an impact, an improvement in our earnings, an improvement in our bottom line. With that sort of growth, the 2016, 2017 years look extraordinary in terms of both top and bottom line growth.